Howdy y'all, I'm Reverend, and I decided to make a team around Mega Camerupt because I make poor decisions. Mega Camerupt, definitely not a good Pokemon, definitely not even a particularly cool Pokemon, but it does hard counter Mega Manectric, which makes it A+, IMO, cause fuck that Pokemon. And I made this team quite a while ago, so I'm like desperately trying to remember what my actual thought process was behind it. The first partner that came to mind was Choice Band Pursuit Scizor, because Latis hard counter Mega Camerupt, and Scizor can just switch into them and Pursuit trap them, and it also gives me a nice and slow U-turn to bring Mega Camerupt in safely against a lot of the Pokemon that are going to want to switch into Scizor, like Mega Manectric, so that just worked out dandy. And since they're both slow grounded pivots, and since the two of them just scream Keldeo weakness, I thought Starmie was a nice fit because it switches into that fucking horse for days and also provides hazard removal for both of them. And then Rotom-Wash shows up as a way to switch into Tornadus Therian especially, but just like birds in general, and it also stops me from getting 6-0'd by rain and sand teams, and it also completes a Volt Turn core with Scizor, and from that point, I sort of accidentally made a Volt Turn team, even though that's definitely not what I wanted to do. I ended up adding Cobalion because I didn't have a Dark Resist or Stealth Rocks yet, and he also gave me another Dragon Resistance, which is good because I don't have a Fairy type, and he also gave me a check to Mega Gyarados, and he also learns Volt Switch for some fucking reason, so he ends up making a Volt Turn core with Lando T, who is here because, like, first off, I needed a Choice Scarf user, and I definitely needed a ground immunity that didn't get bypassed by Mold Breaker, because Choice Scarf, Mold Breaker, Excadrill just clean swept the rest of my fucking team at this point. And it also gave me sort of a way to deal with Charizard X, even though Charizard X still like 6-0s this squad. It, I guess, 6-0s it slightly less easily. So, looking at this dude's team, I'm going to go ahead and lead off with Stargasm Flows, because I was like, motherfucker, you ain't got no switch-ins, but he is going to lead with his Mega Venusaur. I get the Spook Sweats. He gets the Spook Sweats harder. I guess he was noited out by the Psyshock, but it definitely wasn't worth me going for that, because I would have just gotten murked by a Giga Drain. So I end up with Laboots in against his Scizor, going to go ahead and set up my Stealth Rocks, and then Volt Switch out because he locks himself into Superpower. So Stargasm Flows gets a free switch, and I know that he's going to switch into his Sylveon, expecting the Hydro Pump. So the Psyshock on the switch, good lord, you're on fire, 71% damage. Analytic Starmie takes no fucking prisoners. I definitely didn't need to go for another Psyshock here. I should have just straight up gone for a Hydro Pump, because that would have killed it. And I pay for my insolence by getting Pursuit trapped by the Scizor, which is straight garbage, because that was like the only Pokemon I had that could kill his Venusaur. So I was like, okay, in what universe do you not go into Gyarados here? So I Will-O-Wisp. Not only does he not switch out, he's also not even fucking Choice Band. He's like Assault Vest or some shit. Like, every time I ladder, Forum Superstar Count Blanc is like, yo, if you're sub 1500, and especially if the other person has a default trainer avatar, don't make plays, just push damage. And I'm like, no dude, today's gonna be the day that they know how to play. Spoiler alert, the day never comes. Like, this dude wasn't even ready for the Volt Switch from Cobalion, even though he knew I already had it. He still wasn't ready. So the lesson of the day is just, like, always be clicking the button that makes the most math happen. And I am going to go ahead and Bullet Punch his Gyarados, which manages to accomplish fucking goose egg, bagel % to my team, against a team that has a fucking Mega Camerupt and a Scizor on it. Somehow doesn't do a goddamn thing. And I am going to go ahead and clutch through that Earth Power, fucking rip and pepperoni it with my own Earth Power, goddamn obliterated. I am going to go down to the Hyper Voice, but that's fine because I can go ahead and bring out Kitty Cat Paws, and he doesn't have any switch-ins. Oh wait, he has the switch-in of the fucking century because he still has a full health Mega Venusaur, and I don't have a goddamn thing that can actually kill this at this point. So I guess my only play is to go into the legend, Laboots, and he is going to try harder to earn Daddy's love than any other Pokemon I've ever used. Like, this is the most well-trained Cobalion. I'm a fucking Pokemon Ami auteur, apparently, because I'm going to get Tripsy's flinches. He is going to Synthesis, but at this point, it doesn't matter. Because I'm a legend, bro. Shit. This game is so fucking easy. Go ahead and get the crit and flinch, and he's just gonna go ahead and leave before he gets ultra grimed out. Like, you would think that I would feel at least a little bad about that. You'd be wrong, motherfucker. I just realized how badly I fucked up by using Captain Magma and then not nicknaming my Starmie after whatever the fuck Patrick's name was in that episode. And I'm honestly also disappointed in myself for not remembering what his name was in that episode. I want to say it was Quickster, but I could be wrong, as I often am. But I'm not wrong about the lead I picked here. Check out that dank segue. I am going to lead off with Laboots, because he doesn't care about any of this dude's Pokemon other than maybe the Lando T, who is going to come out now. I get my Stealth Rocks, but I got double intimidated, so scared, shaken in his Laboots, and I am going to go into Alan Tudyk, expect him to go into the Latios, get made a fool of as I Volt Switch off of nothing, and then burn the Clefable. So things aren't going too well for the hometown hero, but since his Clefable is in, I get the freest switch into Captain Magma of my career, and this is the easiest Gyarados switch of my life. Better go for Will-O-Wisp again, and in, like, twice in 2 battles, I completely fail to burn a Gyarados, and I do manage to double burn the Clefable, and I'm like, okay, this is still money in the bank. This Fire Blast is going to tear ass, but I get the double Spec Attack drop from the Moonblast. Pretty brutal. I honestly, like, I'm more upset than I should be, even just reliving this little journey right now, which means that I guarantee you that, like, in the moment, I had the legitimate anger, but I am going to go ahead and U-turn off of his Lando T, bring out Stargasm Flows, miss the Hydro Pump, supremely unfortunate, but I'm going to take way less from that U-turn than I honestly should have, considering that has, like, no defensive investment. And once the Hoopa Unbound comes out, not really scared of that, can just go into Laboots, find out that it is Choice Scarf Hoopa, and I am going to go and go for the Iron Head. The Justified boost not really mattering at all, because he's just going to bring the Landorus Therian in on that. And I know that he's going to expect me to switch out, so he's not going to go for a U-turn, so I just go for another Iron Head there, while he is going to bring out his Weavile, and I'm like, I can absolutely survive a low kick, even at this percent, but my Weavile counter clearly does a pretty fucking immaculate job of countering a Weavile right there, while I am just going to go and bring out Alan Tudyk, Volt Switch off of the Clefable once again, and I'm like, okay, round 2. You can't possibly fuck this up again, Captain Magma. Like, all the shenanigans have already happened. By the law of averages, this should work out, but it does no damage. It's so weak. It's not strong. And Captain Magma dies to only Moonblasts. He dies to only Fairy moves, which is like the one thing that he should have managed to have been able to fucking overcome. I'm so upset right now. I can't even, like, commentate this. Like, Stargasm Flows is going to go ahead and take out the Clefable, but I am just going to get knockoff by the Weavile. Like, I couldn't have switched out because I would have just died if I came in on the Stealth Rocks again. So LF Plat OU is just going to go ahead and revenge kill the Weavile while he goes into his Landorus Therian for some reason. Like, he has to know that I'm Choice Banded. He could have just set up with Gyarados straight up, but I guess he desperately needed to get the double Intimidate on the resisted Bullet Punch, while I am just going to go out into Alan Tudyk while he sets up Dragon Dance. If this had been Earthquake Gyarados, I think he would have just straight swept me right here. And it very well could have been, and he just expected me to, like, Will-O-Wisp him, but I am just going to go ahead and pop the Substitute while I Volt Switch out into Kitty Cat Paws, and I fucking... Tonight on Unsolved Mysteries, how the fuck did I win this game? Because at this point, I just clean kill everything with a Choice Scarf U-turn, and the rest of it is just, like, a formality. I can go ahead and Bullet Punch it with LF Plat OU. She is going to go down to the Draco Meteor, but it doesn't really matter because it is fucking U-turn o'clock. Good heavens. Will you look at the time? Gonna go ahead and take that out while I U-turn out into Alan Tudyk. I definitely thought that he could, like, survive something from this Hoopa Unbound, but he fucking busts out the technology, the Energy Ball. I didn't even know that Hoopa could learn that. I don't know why you would ever use that. Like, is Quagsire the secret Hoopa Unbound hard counter that OU needs? But it doesn't matter, because I am just going to annihilate it with a U-turn, and Kitty Cat Paws is going to bring us home. The team I make, trying to use the noted underdog Mega Mega Camerupt, and then the Pokemon that ends up winning the game is like OU the Pokemon, Landorus T. But I'm not even really upset, because Kitty Cat Paws, he's always there for me. And Captain Magma, like, that... You didn't even try, Captain Magma. That's all I ask from you. And you didn't even fucking try.